Welcome to Around Kansas. I'm Deb Goodrich, coming to you today from my living room. I don't get many days at home here in Oakley lately, or for the last 2 or 3 years, or 4 years, or something. But it's a rare day where I'm home today, and I'm it today. No fancy production because we're in the process of um, getting some things changed up and getting equipment set up. And Noelle is setting up her home studio to get all the editing done and waiting on a few pieces of equipment there. So today you just get me and none of the music in the background. I'm so tickled. I can't wait till we get it all together because we have a new theme song that my dear friend Jesse Freeson and his dad Orrin recorded and put together. And then we have a new logo that my granddaughter, who is a student at Vassar, she gets her brains from me, um, designed, and it's just beautiful. So all the pieces are gradually coming together. I feel like I'm so far behind. I was sick during the month of December and into first of January, and it's like that time was just gone. And you know how it is. I know so many of you have been facing the same challenges. It's like you don't get to pick up where you left off. No, that time's just gone, and you're behind. You're running to catch up, and I feel like that's where I've been for several weeks now, still running to catch up. But hopefully we're right in there. So I am going to do the commercials just like we did when I started in radio, like 150 years ago, where the radio host would just talk about people. And I maybe they did that in television a little bit to start too. Oh, I guess they did, didn't they? Back in the old days of television, the same thing. They just talk about whatever product it was. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I want to start out talking about Mittens, Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, which is located at exit 76 on I-70. And it is your gateway to Western Kansas, to adventure, to incredible scenery and amazing history. So stop in at Mittens and tell them that Deb from Around Kansas sent you. And you've got the C store there. In fact, I had lunch at the C store on Friday because they've got fish and fries during Lent. And my friend and I just happened to find a little table there in the hallway and had a great lunch. Or you've got the IHOP, you've got the Sonic next door, you've got Subway right there inside. So many great choices to have a stop and have a quick bite or sit down for a little while and just kind of take a deep breath and recharge while you get your tank filled up with gas. And or if you're one of our truckers who take advantage of Mittens and stopping there, we love truckers. TruckersRadioUSA.com is one of our partners. And I was just telling somebody the other day, I have a special place in my heart for truckers and truck drivers and truck stops, I rather, because where I grew up in Mayberry, everybody's got a trucking company. You've got the big ones, you've got the guy, it's just him and his truck, and the truck stops were where we gathered. And just anybody could come in, and you had wonderful food, and the lawyers would come in, and the guys from the country club, and the guys who were working construction, and just everybody came in there. And it was just this wonderful gathering place, the great equalizer. And I love it because everybody, no matter what your vocation, no matter what your interest, you wanted a good cup of coffee and a good meal and a comfortable place to enjoy that. And so that's what those places mean to me. My cousin Orrin Gerald, who's been gone for a few years now, when he got out of World War II, he opened a truck stop in Virginia on Highway 1 between Richmond and Washington. And then it moved over to I-95 when that was completed. It was the largest truck stop in America at one time, even had its own radio station. So, I really do have a kinship for that culture, and I think they get kind of pushed aside sometimes, and as maybe not classy enough or important. They're so important to the economy here. It's one of the reasons that I care so much about Mittens. Um, when you have a little community like Oakley, somebody that employs hundreds of people like Mittens, it's so important. But it's also so important in putting our best foot forward in the community, for the community, the traveling public. And it's just such a wonderful, welcoming sight when I come home and see that sign there at the I-70 exit, and I feel like it's a place I could safely stop as a single woman. I feel safe and I feel welcomed, and I see so many families there, and so many guys and gals who are making their living trucking and traveling, whatever capacity. So those places mean a lot to me, and Mittens means a lot to me. So I appreciate your stopping in and telling them that we sent you. So I do travel a lot with Santa Fe Trail Association, a lot of travel. And in fact, I am headed to the Oregon California Trail Association meeting later this month that is in St. Joe, Missouri, one of my favorite places. The history, the architecture, such a cool town. And hitting the road for that show. Check out our trail organizations. Of course, I represent the Santa Fe Trail Association, and the Santa Fe Trail is the most historic road in America, in my opinion. But the other trail associations have some cool stuff going too. Oregon Trail, California, the California Road. All these organizations are still so relevant because most of these routes are still being traveled today. Why did people travel them to start with, and how did that change the course of history, and what were the cultures along these roads? I love those stories. So check out santafetrail.org, and we've got a tremendous website. So many resources there, from maps to old issues of the Wagon Tracks publication. Wagon Tracks itself is worth the cost of joining. It's a wonderful magazine. So there's just so much. Our geocache program, we are one of the most popular geocache tours, networks. I'm not sure exactly what the proper word is in the country. We have tremendous traffic from that. So I urge you to check that out. Okay, and then Fort Wallace Museum. Of course, we have so much going on at the Fort Wallace Museum. And on the 18th, we have our spring symposium. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning. Doors open at 8, I think, 8 or 8:30. We've got a great bunch of speakers lined up. We have Dr. Donald Blakesley talking about the lost city of Etzanoa. And you talk about an incredible story. Think about in 1600, a village of thousands and thousands of people on the Kansas-Oklahoma border. Isn't that an incredible story? And what happened to that village, and it's just going to be great. My buddy Ken Spurgeon is going to talk about how the eastern tribes during the period of Indian removal that were moved to Kansas, and which was the Indian Territory at the time, and then what became Oklahoma, how that put pressure on the tribes that were already here, and just the impact of that. Dee Cordry, a dear friend from Oklahoma, actually retired from the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation as an agent. We'll be talking about the Cheyenne, and the Cheyenne Nation, of course, was the predominant tribe in our part of Kansas, in western Kansas, during the period of Fort Wallace. So a big piece of our story. I'm going to talk a little bit, because my friends weren't able to come, about the Kaw Nation. This does mark the 150th year since the Kaw removal to what is now Oklahoma. which breaks my heart to even think about, much less talk about. But such an important piece of our story, and we are woefully ignorant on these topics. As a rule, it's so important for school kids to understand who was here, who is still here, and I am encouraging you to, if you can't come to Fort Wallace for our symposium, do watch on Facebook, because we will share a lot of those videos. And then we have our fall event. That is the second weekend in September, and that is our Living History Expo. So we have representatives from many tribes that are coming as we interpret our theme this year, the Native Tribes of the High Plains. So we'd love to have you join us at one of these events. I want to give a shout out also to Grass and Grain, my column in Grass and Grain. Every week, when I don't forget my Wednesday deadline, some days I forget it's Wednesday. But Grass and Grain, while so many publications are struggling, Grass and Grain is still going strong. Great ag publication, wonderful information on the ag business and every facet of it. And then you've got wonderful columnists like Jim Gray and Ron Wilson. And I'm so proud to be part of that. I really am, and just appreciate them so much. So be patient while we're going through all the changes that we're going through. Can't wait to share all the good things with you, our new theme songs, our new logo, new formats when we go to uploading 3 days a week. A lot of work for this old woman, but I appreciate each and every one of you. This is Deb Goodrich signing off, and I shall see you somewhere around Kansas. Bye-bye.